Good evening, and thank you for joining us this evening. I'm going to ask for you guys to just hold on a few moments to see if we have any other participants join us. Thank you again for tuning in to tonight's webinar, Your Guide to an IEP That Works. My name is Misty Polero, and I am the Parent Training Coordinator for PSN, Parent Support Network, and we are a program of Family Network on Disabilities. I'm going to ask if everyone could please mute their microphones. This webinar will be recorded and uploaded for future viewing. Please feel free to ask me any questions in the chat area. Please make sure not to include any personal contact information. I will try to answer questions at the end of the webinar. If I can't get to them all, please feel free to reach out for me directly for assistance. All my contact information will be provided at the end of tonight's webinar. FND is a family-driven nonprofit 501c3 organization. What makes FND unique is that the majority of our board of directors, all of our management staff, and all of our program staff are parents or family members of persons with disabilities. When a family members call FND, they not only receive the expertise and knowledge of a professional, but also the compassion and empathy of someone who has walked and continues to walk in their shoes. I myself started as a parent volunteer here at FND almost 6 years ago. I had moved to Florida from up north. I had been recently separated and a single mom of 3 boys. At that time, they were ages 17, 8, and 6, 2 of whom have diagnoses which consist of learning disabilities and mental health. I was temporarily homeless and decided it would be best to move us to Florida to be closer to my parents so they could assist with me and my boys, helping us get back on our feet. I was not familiar with the state or local resources that were available to my children. So I started volunteering as a parent volunteer here at FND. They gave me the tools that I needed to advocate for my boys, which led them to becoming self-advocates. When that opportunity arose to work for the wonderful organization, I jumped at a chance to be able to give others what they had given me. Here at FND, we do not act as attorneys. We do, however, provide support, we provide information, and we help identify options so families can make informed decisions on their child's education. Our philosophy at FND is that it's not our role to tell families what to do. It is our role, however, to inform families of what their options are and to encourage them to make their own decisions about what is right for their family. There are approximately 6.7 million children and youth with disabilities in public schools across the United States. What is IDEA? The Individuals with Disabilities Education Improvement Act of 2004 is a United States law that mandates equitability, I just can't seem to get that out this evening, I'm sorry, and excellence in education for children with disabilities. It's about a live webinar. IDA is a written document. An IEP is a written document that is developed for a public school student who has a qualifying disability and needs specialized instruction. Not every child with learning and attention issues are eligible for special education services. To decide if your child needs special education, the school district has to do an educational evaluation and an eligibility determination. IDEA has 6 major principles that must be met by the school system. Free appropriate public education, which we know as FAPE, appropriate evaluation, an individualized education program, an IEP, a least restricted environment, which is known as an LRE, parent participation, and procedural safeguards. We're going to talk about two components that must be present to determine eligibility and what that means. A child with a disability and special education and related services. In interpreting evaluation data, public agency is to draw upon information from a variety of sources, including aptitude and achievement tests, but not restricted to these results. Parent input, teacher recommendations, physical condition, social or cultural background, and adaptive behavior. In order for a child to be declared eligible for special education related services, it must be determined that the child is a child with a disability and that child is in need of special education and related services. How does the law define a child with a disability? Who is eligible? The child must meet eligibility requirements for one or more of the 13 categories of disability. Child must be considered a child with a disability as defined by federal law. In general, the term child with a disability means a child, as I'm quoting from the guidelines, with mental retardation, hearing impairments, including deafness, speech or language impairments, visual impairments, including blindness, serious emotional disturbance, hereinafter referred to as emotional disturbance, orthopedic impairments, autism, traumatic brain injury, other health impairments, or specific learning disabilities, and who by reason therefore needs special education and related services. What does special education include? That includes a specially designed instruction or specialized program to be provided to the child in order to allow that child to make progress in general education, advance towards goals, and participate in activities with peers. A related service is required in order for a child to receive a FAPE, free and appropriate public education. It should be described in the IEP document, along with details about when and how this will be provided. As will be discussed in a future slide, related services include those services listed in the IDEA, such as speech therapy, occupational therapy, and many other therapies that would be available. So basically, related services include those specific services that are included in a child's program in order to meet that child's needs and provide him or her educational benefit. Supplementary aids and services include related services, accommodations, and supports. The short story of supplementary aids and services. Supplementary aids and services are often critical elements in supporting the education of children with disabilities in regular classes and their participation in a range of other school activities. IDEA definitions of this term reads as supplementary aids and services means aids, services, and other supports that are provided in regular education classes or education-related settings and in extracurricular and non-academic settings to enable children with disabilities to be educated the same as children without disabilities, to the maximum extent appropriate. Speaking practically, supplementary aids and services can be accommodations and modifications to the curriculum under study or the manner in which that content is presented or a child's progress is measured. But that's not all they are or can be. Supplementary aids and services can also include direct services and supports to the child, and support and training for staff who work with that child. That's why determining what supplementary aids and service are appropriate for a particular child, they must be on an individual basis. Supports to address environmental needs such as preferential seating, planned seating on the bus, in the classroom, at lunch, in the auditorium, and other locations, altered physical room arrangement. Levels of staff support needed such as consultation, stop-in support, classroom companion, one-on-one assistance, behavioral specialist, healthcare assistant, instructional support assistant. Children's specialized equipment needs such as a wheelchair, computer, software, voice synthesizer, utensils, cups, plates, restroom equipment. Presentation of subject matters such as recorded lectures, sign language, primary language, paired reading and writing. Materials may be needed, scans, tests, and notes into a computer, shared note-taking, large print or braille, AT, assistive technology. Some possible assignment modifications could be shorter assignments, recorded lessons, instructions broken down into steps, allow student to record or type assignment, self-management or follow-through needed such as calendars or study skills, teaching them study skills. Social interaction support such as provide circle of friends, use cooperative learning groups, teach social skills. Also, training needed for personnel. What can specially designed instruction include? Instruction conducted in the classroom, in the home, in hospitals, and in other settings. Instruction in physical education. Special education includes each of the following if the services otherwise meet the requirements of this section, such as speech language pathology services or any other related service. If the service is considered special education rather than a related service under state standards. Travel training, vocational education, individual special education term defined. The terms in this definition are defined as follows. At no cost means that all specially designed instruction is provided without charge. Does not preclude incidental fees that are normally charged to a student without disabilities or their parents as part of the regular education program. If your child is new to special education, the qualifying information used will come from tests and observations done during the child's evaluation for eligibility. If your child's IEP is being revised, the information may come from evaluations done during the year by the school or from an independent education evaluation known as an IEE. Teachers and others who work with the child may offer information gained during the child's day-to-day school routine. Parents also share information that helps shape our child's present level statement. Who makes up our IEP team? The parents. It is expected that parents attend all IEP meetings. Although parents must be invited by the school, if they choose not to attend, the meeting may be held without them. However, all efforts should be made by the school to provide parents the opportunity to attend the meeting. Conference calls, meeting at alternative times, any way that we could possibly work collaboratively. The student. Parents may bring their child at any age to the IEP meeting so long as they feel it is appropriate. For transition IEP meetings, the child must be invited, and that's at the age of 14 in the state of Florida. Our ESE teacher, exceptional student education teacher. Our gen ed teacher. If the student is in inclusive settings, school system representative as well must attend. The individual represents the school district and is authorized to make decisions on approving services. So any of that assistive technology that we spoke about earlier at an IEP meeting, if somebody from the district is not there attending, representing the district, that is authorized to give the go-ahead on dollars to be spent, then that will be redirected to another meeting when somebody can't attend to make that authorizing decision. So if you know ahead of time that assistive technology is going to be on that discussion plate at your IEP meeting, I would reach out to my team and confirm that somebody from the district that has the authority will be there to assist you, so you don't have to wait to get that taken care of. Interpreters for evaluations. Someone can interpret evaluation or assessment results. It is your right to have it in your native language. If you need any assistance, please reach out. We'll be happy to find your resources. Language interpreter if needed. Anyone working with your child that can provide information on their respective areas of expertise, such as therapists, service providers, transition specialists, agency representatives, anybody that you feel could bring some information to the table is beneficial. Your IEP statement of service details should list the following. On the screen, you'll see the statement of service details, service, therapy, instruction, person responsible, your location, dates, and times, how many, how often are the dates, and how often are the times. On our website, if you have not seen an IEP previously, we have examples of IEPs on our website, or you can reach out to me after the training. I'd be more than happy to send you some examples so you can familiarize yourself before your meeting. IDA requirements include a statement of special education and related services and supplementary aids and services to be provided to the child, and a statement of the program modifications or supports for school personnel. Specialized instruction. By federal definition, the term special education means specially designed instruction, which is provided at no cost to parents to meet the unique needs of a child with a disability. Special education includes instruction conducted in the classroom, in the home, in the hospitals, and in other settings, and also includes instruction in physical education. For our related services, developmental, corrective, and other supportive services as may be required to assist a child with a disability to benefit from special education. As the IEP is being developed, review the goals, review the objectives, review the benchmarks to help identify those developmental, corrective, or supportive services that will assist that child to achieve their goals. Your related service must also help the child benefit from special education. A related service would never stand alone as a goal. They always have to relate to a support on an IEP. So a related service will never stand alone as a goal. They always have to relate to support an IEP goal. IDEA lists examples of related services and acknowledge that the list is non-exhaustive. Related services can include any service to assist a child with a disability to benefit from special education. Our supplemental services and aids. IDEA 2004 requires that the level of supplementary aids and services are based on peer-reviewed research. To the extent possible, it must be designed to aid the student to advance appropriately toward attaining the annual goals, to be involved in and make progress in the general education curriculum, and to participate in extracurricular and other non-academic activities, and to be educated and participate with other children with disabilities and children without disabilities in the activities. Aids and services that support a child to be educated with their peers. You have two very important components in IEP. That's your academic achievement and functional performance. IDEA's exact words, each child IEP must contain a statement of child's present level of academic achievement and functional performance, including how the child's disability affects the child's involvement and progress in the general education curriculum, such as the same curriculum as for children without disabilities, or for preschool children as appropriate, how the disability affects the child's participation in appropriate activities. On the bottom of the slide, there's a wonderful website at parentcenter.hub.org to get more information. Academic achievement. According to the department, academic achievement generally refers to a child's performance in academic areas such as reading or language arts, math, science, and history. Children's circumstances will vary, as the department notes, which means that the examination of the child's academic achievement and performance is an individualized consideration. Where does that child stand academically? And a critical question, how does the child's disability affect his or her involvement and progress in the general educational curriculum? The present level statement must contain a description that answers these questions. Domains include curriculum and learning, independent functioning, social and emotional, communication, and healthcare. Curriculum and learning. Your child's current abilities on an academic level, how your child interprets information, and their preferred learning style would be identified here. Communication. How are your child's receptive and expressive language? How well does your child understand language? Can he, she follow one or two-step verbal commands? Are they able to express needs or communicate through thoughts effectively? What is their preferred method of communication? Independent function skills. Is your child able to complete tasks independently, such as homework assignments, chores, dressing, eating? For social and emotional, how well does your child socialize with their peers? How is their behavior generally? Under the social and emotional domain, Any effects of the child's disability that result in behaviors that impede the child's ability to learn need to be clearly defined in the present level statement. It is very important to document the connection between the child's disability and their behavior. By clearly stating that connection in the present level section of the IEP, documentation exists that they may be critical during a manifestation determination, if one should ever occur. It's also important to know that not all of the domains will be used on an IEP. Only the domains relative to your child's disability and educational needs will be addressed and outlined on the IEP. List your child's strengths and areas of concern. It is very important to document the connection between the child's disability and the behavior. By clearly stating that connection in the present level section of the IEP, document exists and may be critical during manifestation determination. Healthcare. Does your child have a specific healthcare need? Dietary, administering medications? All of these will be listed in that domain area. Now that you know the names listed on your child's IEP, you can develop your own present levels of performance based on your observations at home in your child's academic history. Detail all the things your child can do, what he or she really good at, and the areas that he or she truly struggle with. Your input is extremely important. No one knows our children better than we do. I've attached some documents to back up the SMART IEP that I'm going to review really quickly. One of them is just a Word document that I use myself prior to IEP meetings and some of my families have used. Just a guideline to help us write the IEP. We want a SMART IEP. We want it to be specific, measurable, action, realistic, and time limited. Specific. Our IEP goals specifically target areas of academic and functional performance. They're measurable. Measurable means you can observe it or count it. Action. Use action words. IEP goals should include 3 components that must be stated in measurable terms. Direction of behavior is number 1. Increase, decrease, maintain. Number 2, the area of need. Is it reading, writing, social skills? And number 3, the level of attainment to the age level without assistance. Realistic and relevant. Goals have realistic, relevant, and objectives that address the child's unique needs. Time limited. Determine what the child needs to know and be able to do after a certain time period. It's important to note that goals can be long-term or short-term. Your key question on the screen, as you see, is what should the child be doing? To describe what a child can reasonably be expected to accomplish within 12 months with specially designed instruction and related services, annual goals enable the child to be involved in and progress in the general curriculum. They are also intended to meet other educational needs that result from the child's disability. Definition and annual goal is directly related to the present level of performance, the PLEP, which provides baseline information about the child, sets the direction for working with the child, is written for specially designed instruction, not all aspect of the child's educational program, unless the total program is special education. Provides a way to determine whether anticipated outcomes are being met and whether placements and services are appropriate for the child's special needs. Has 3 parts. The child does what, to what level or degree. Now that you know the domains listed on your child's IEP, you can develop your own present level of performance. Moving on to that, then you could start reviewing the benchmark and short-term objectives. Benchmarks indicate the interim steps a child will take to reach an annual goal. They also serve as a measurement gauge to monitor a child's progress and determine if the child is making significant progress towards attaining an annual goal. Using a roadmap analogy, benchmarks and short-term objectives are used to divide the trip to the final destination into concrete, smaller steps. But please note, benchmarks are required only for students with disabilities who take alternate assessments aligned to alternate achievement standards. Examples of goals and objectives: cognitive play, leisure, sample goals. Will engage in pretend play for imitating at least one-step sequence actions with at least how many different toys or sets of toys in the first trial of the day. For each action in the sequence across consecutive days as measured. So depending on the child and what that child's needs are as a team and reviewing everything, you should be able to come together and write these goals and objectives, but at least you as the parent caregiver have an understanding of what you're looking at to determine what these goals and objectives are. The goal and the objectives are the meat of the IEP. Knowing how goals and objectives work is important to the development of the IEP. Goals should address your state's requirements for learning, but they should also be usable by anyone on the current IEP team and by anyone working with the child in the future. If your child moves, the IEP should be written in the way that anyone new to the student's educational background can pick it up and be able to use it. Understanding research and learn about the IEP process. The more you understand about the IEP process and IDEA, the more instrumental you will be as a meaningful participant at the IEP meetings. Ask questions. Parents are strongly encouraged to ask questions, including those that they identified while they were preparing for the meeting. Planning. Careful planning of strategies that can and will be used in the classroom and at home is key. Collaborating with the teachers and staff at school will help this process be more and successful in developing an effective IEP. If disagreements occur, agree upon portions of the IEP can be implemented, and areas of disagreement can be revisited at a subsequent at another meeting. Seek solutions. The best result for the child are achieved when the team works collaboratively. Taking your own notes at the meeting helps you retain anything discussed. If you need a recording in order to fully understand and participate in the process, you can request to record, but should make the request to the participants in advance. For example, my husband won't be able to make it there, and he will need to tape, for us to tape it to participate in decision making. Monitoring. Keep track, evaluate, and record any progress in your child's activities or behavior at home. This information should be shared regularly with his or her teacher at the IEP meeting. Teachers will also be documenting your child's progress, and data with information should be reported to you. You and the IEP team decide what the reporting system looks like. How often will you receive progress reports on whether or not strategies are in place that are working? Would you like to receive reports quarterly or with your report cards? If you're starting a new program or strategy, maybe you want to know how effective it is and receive a report within 4 weeks of implementation. All of these are discussed at your IEP meeting. And remember, don't get overwhelmed. You can do this. We're only just a phone call away. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at any time. We are here to help. And please remember to visit our website for more amazing resources. You want to build relationships, regardless of your past experiences with your teachers or other schools or a system in general. These are the people who care and teach your child. Build a relationship with them. IEP team, faculty, PTA. Establish a routine for communicating and sharing information. Try to be more involved in all school processes. This means joining the PTA, joining the SAC committee, attending your ESC advisory meetings, asking your child's teacher how you can help. This could be anything from volunteering on field trips to donating or buying school supplies to starting a class phone tree or networking with other parents about school events. This is a key for your child's success. The IEP meeting depends on and complements his or her educational experiences. And try to attend all meetings. Parents need to be invited to attend the IEP meeting. However, if attempts to invite the parent have been made and documented, the school staff can hold the IEP meeting and make decisions without us being there. Your signature and attendance. While it's critical to have a parent's input, your presence at the child's IEP meeting does not mean that an IEP meeting does not occur. It is also important to know that your signature at an IEP meeting only confirms your attendance. It says nothing about your opinion of the IEP. Your signature on the IEP document does not mean you agree or disagree with its content. And try to stay organized. Keep a file, a folder, or a binder with all of your child's updated information, your evaluations, your IEP, your BIP, your FBA. File, order in a drawer or a box at home, since that will be part of your child's history. Oftentimes, parents come to meetings thinking they're fully prepared with files of information. However, most of our information is outdated. For example, there is no need to review evaluations or IEPs done 3 years ago. If you need any guidance or any resource tools on how to stay organized, please, another way I can assist you with resources. A list of resources that are wonderful as well. In your attached PowerPoint, they should be clickable links for you to get to them a lot quicker than this, of course. FND University is a 24-hour online learning system that will allow you to take a variety of family-friendly trainings from your own home. This fully interactive training platform will also enable you to keep transcripts of all your courses and receive a certificate of completion as each one is completed. And they're all free. Trainings conclude topics such as understanding IDEA, parental engagement, effective communication, conflict resolution, and many, many, many more. I see I do have a question. Does an IEP benefit a child that does not have a learning disability and only struggles with social skills because of his Tourette syndrome, and the school staff and his peers do not understand the sounds and tics? with it being on an individual basis, if it's impeding his educational learning, and we can sit down and write a smart outline and showing how this impedes his educational behavior, then yes, an IEP can assist your young child. He can benefit from that. It all depends, though, on a little bit more information on that. If you want to give me a call tomorrow morning or send me an email, I'd be happy to assist you further. But on specific needs, if it's impeding his education, then you need to show how it's impeding his education, and from there we can determine goals that can assist him. I'll be following up with an email evaluation. If you could kindly fill that out and send it back to me, and I'll be kind enough to send you back a certificate of attendance with today's date on it. And please, again, do not hesitate to call if I could be any of assistance to you. Again, my name is Misty Polero. All my contact information is on the screen, and thank you for taking the time out of your evening to join me tonight.